The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Welcome to Angels Talk, Soul Relationships. Here's your host, Sandra Lynch.
Both live and recording straight from our home that we both host addresses.
My home.
Whose phone?
My home.
Oh my goodness, that's the voice of Woody. Woody Angel. Hi, Woody! Oh, they don't know, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do know. Do they know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what they know and what they don't know.
I don't know, but I'm so excited and I'm honored and happy to be here today on a brand new episode of TV Angels Talk, Soul Relationships, and I'm here with the one, the only one, Dustin Vice, who has been on this show, how many years ago?
It was in 2002,
2002.
so 14 years ago.
You were 14 years younger.
Yes.
I was 14 years younger. Maybe I should show them a picture of us or something from that time period and what we talked about. Okay, so right from the start, I want to welcome you to join us today on another TV episode of Angels Talk. We are in our soul relationship, and that we know for sure. And stand by, we're going to show you just a little bit of the way it was, and then we'll be back to you with the way it is right now. Stand by.
And I think that that's kind of where I am in my life right now. I'm 22 years old, and I am...
When do you think you're going to do this? When are you doing this?
Relatively soon.
Relatively soon.
Relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I will have taken in enough, I think, information or light, as they say.
Now, I know you're writing. You're writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yes.
a wonderful gift of divinity through you.
Yes.
Tell us.
I'm working on a book right now, and it's... I've come up with 3 different names for it, and I don't know, maybe I'm intended to write 3 different books, but the textbook for spirituality, and that was the first name, and then the second name was Christ Part 2, the second resurrection, the Christ within you, and then the third one, I can't remember it right now at this time, so that must not be meant to be.
Or not to say.
Not to say.
In
yes,
this message today.
There you go. And in this book, I break it down. Let's just put, for all you hip-hop lovers out there, I just break it down. 13 chapters for each, it goes along with each numerology. Chapter 1 goes with this, and chapter 13 goes with this, and it just goes through human perspective and how we need to change our human perspective in order to learn divine law and cause and effect and the unconditional love and the experience that is life, and to appreciate, behold it, and live it.
If there is one last thing that you can say to somebody in your age group, what would you say to them?
Have faith.
Yes.
Have faith.
For faith is the substance of the things not seen and the things yet to come.
It is the key to the automobile that you are. And if you just put that key and start it up, it will take you anywhere.
I can't thank you enough for showing up and allowing your inner spirit to come through and share with each and every one out there all of the angel ideas and experiences, and most of all, the Christ that so much indwells in you. You are that loving, living presence. Thank you so much. We're honored to have that presence here today.
Thank you, and thank you, God.
Thank you.
When I had that long hair, and the super skinny, young.
Yeah, so talk louder, because this may be used.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's real. Everything's unscripted. That's how life is. We live spontaneously, right?
Yep, one day at a time.
Is that how you coach people today?
How what?
How you coach people to live spontaneously?
No, not necessarily. I mostly coach them to connect with themselves, to feel good, to release belief patterns that no longer serve them,
Oh, well, that's exciting. And before,
embrace new belief patterns that do serve them.
oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
To feel like they're enough.
Uh-huh.
To fall in love with themselves. To fall in love with the world around them. To open up their heart and listen to their heart and follow their heart. Use their brain and follow their heart.
Use the brain and follow our heart.
Yes. So those are a few things I would say.
Well, I have to say this because this is so real, and me using my brain today and following my heart to co-create with you
Yes.
another episode of television after 5 years being.
I'm your first show in 5 years.
Yeah. When before.
High five.
Before you were a show within the show.
Yes.
So you weren't really my second. You were the first. Back then, I produced 15 minutes of I think Sandy Armstrong, who is Mrs. Indiana, and you were the second portion. It was like 15 minutes, and then since then it evolved into
Yes.
a half hour, and then a live show. You've been on my live show, Calling All Angels
Yes.
Hotline.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the 2002 show.
Yes. So a lot has happened. Do you remember anything from that first episode?
Well, what's interesting is before I came home to visit, I was, what is the word I'm looking for? Inspired
Yeah.
to watch it.
Really?
I watched it recently.
Oh.
It was cool
Oh yeah.
because I was a lot younger then,
Yeah. So was I. As we all saw.
14 years younger.
Yeah.
But I was a young kid, you know, and now I'm an adult. I mean, I was an adult then legally, but still a young kid. What was fascinating was to listen to myself and realize what I knew then in comparison to what I know now, and how much I did know then in comparison to what I know now. I still know a lot more now, but I knew a lot then. I was pretty impressed with myself in a humble way, you know, in a reinforcing way, in a good feeling way. It made me realize, you know, how far I have come and how far I had come along already at that point. Because I thought of myself back then as, you know, much differently than I think of myself now.
Your story back then, and we just shared a little bit of that clip within this show.
Yeah.
In comparison to that today, what is your new story that you are about? Who is Dustin Vice? I didn't even give you a proper opening, for heaven's sakes.
Okay, it's your first time in 5 years.
Oh,
We'll lay
yes.
you off the hook.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, who is Dustin Vice? What is Dustin Vice doing in comparison to 14 years ago? The vision that I saw, and I wanted you to share with. You're a next generation leader.
Uh-huh.
You are a coach, and you could best describe that
Yeah.
more because you are so adamant about your affirmative vibration.
Right. Well, then I was putting my toe in the water of spirituality and enjoying it and loving it, and but it was more conceptual then. I understood the concept. I was getting some of the knowledge, but I didn't know it. I did know it on some level, but I wasn't it. I wasn't I am part. Does that make sense? And so the difference of Dustin in 2002 and Dustin in 2016 is I am.
Okay,
I have
so
become.
what I hear you saying is at that point in your process, you weren't processing the power of I am.
No, I was processing it. I understood it.
You understood
It wasn't I am. I'm saying
okay.
I understood some of the concepts and what we're here to do, and I was getting it, and it was creating a lot of change for me. But as with anything, change builds up over time. It grows stronger. It builds stronger. And so here we are 14 years later. And so then it feels like maybe I was in elementary school, and now I have, you know, an advanced degree in being me, in my I amness.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so is that your profession?
Well, not necessarily, but here's the thing. So we have this I, me, ego, human, physical, Dustin. I, me, ego, human, physical, Sandra, right? And then we have our higher selves, our inner being, our souls, or whatever you want to call them, right? That is us. That's really us. And then we have the I, me, human part. And the part of us that comes into this body, that's the part that's opened up. That's the part that I am, that I'm connected to now. So the self, the higher self, and the physical self are much more connected than ever. Now, of course, there's always moments of disconnection. It's perfectly natural. It's a side effect of existence, you know. But the difference between then and now is that I am that person, where before I was learning to become that person. Even though I was able to give guidance and share it, I was pretty advanced even at that time, but the difference is now. Also back then, I was trying to figure out what I really wanted in life. What did I really want?
You were talking about writing and
And then I kind of let go of that and tried to figure out my career, my profession, and make money and be successful, because I thought that's what I wanted. And I have done that. And then what I realized in that process of doing that, yes, I did want that, and I can have that, but what I really want now more than anything is just to have fun and laugh a lot. You know, have fun, laugh a lot, be one of those people that people are around that lift them up, that you're easy to talk to. I just want to be that person who walks into an area or space or whatever, and it raises up the energy of the environment that I'm in. And I'm noticing that more and more as I've gone through the process that I've over the years, and it's been an intense ride, to say the least. One thing I learned from the book Destiny of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton, which I highly recommend, is sometimes we pick lives that aren't necessarily the easiest. And that's why when you look at the world and you go, why did that person get molested? Why did they get beaten? Why did they get robbed? Why did the terrorists attack? Why did they do this, this, and this? And you go, because that's what they chose. Because when you realize, I've come to this realization that the planet Earth is really a theater, and these I, me, ego, human, physical selves that we are, this is the ticket that we bought, and we're into this ticket, and we're in this multi-dimensional movie, this life we call this theater we call life, and we're having these experiences, and sometimes we pick the horror films, sometimes we pick the beautiful romantic fantasies, sometimes we pick the adventure, sometimes, whatever we're picking day to day, we've chosen some of that before we came here, and some of it we're choosing in this life. We may not be aware that we're choosing it, but it's in those strong, challenging moments that the most growth takes place. And not just in the I, me, human ego part, but in the higher self part as well. So our soul is growing as we're growing on here together in this multi-dimensional movie that we're playing out together.
Multi-dimensional. I think I just keep hearing ascendant mastery, tribal, the greater good, the whole for all.
Yeah. And when you feel good, you're connected to that greater good. And when you don't feel good, you're not connected to that greater good. And whatever you don't feel good about, or you don't feel like you're worthy enough, or you don't feel like you're enough just about anything, that's when you're not connected. And when you do feel good and you are connected and you do believe in yourself, and we all have different subjects that we feel good about and we don't feel good about, it's perfectly natural. And when you are in that flow state, and I learned this predominantly from Abraham Hicks, and I've studied their work for years and many other teachers as well, and but when you're in that place, when you feel good, you're connected and you're on that path. And the challenging life experiences, if you can find those things that challenge you the most, and you can find a way to feel good about them, that's when the freedom comes in, and that's where the healing takes place. But as long as you're holding on to that and you're gripped up in that resistance and that negativity, and you haven't released that, that's what you got to work on. That's your next step, is whatever you have a challenge around, whatever that person was bad for doing that, or this person is bad, or that event that happened, recently there was police shootings or something. I don't watch the news, but I hear about it third party. And there was a bunch of things, people died. I think there was another attack in Paris or something, or in France. And it's like, yes, it is unfortunate that happened, and it probably was hurtful, and there's probably negative emotions that come out of those. But as an outsider looking in to the situation, I know that it is what it is. It already happened. There's nothing we can do to change it. And so as an outsider who wasn't affected on a personal level with that, I stand back and I send the love and the support and the strength and the healing energy that those people need. Even just in my mind, I don't have to call them and say, hey, I'm sending you healing energy. I'm just sending the love and the support. I understand that they're going through exactly what they're meant to go through at this exact point in their physical, human, I, me, ego life experiences, this movie they're playing out, specifically to go through that experience, specifically to create that resistance, to create that contrast, and to have that experience. And that's what Abraham calls step 5. It's when you're actually able to appreciate those challenges, appreciate those difficulties, appreciate that person who's very challenging at times, okay,
yes.
or whatever, or
I think we
subject
all
matter.
Need to breathe with
Yes,
that one.
exactly.
Hey, stand by. That's just what we need to do.
Okay.
Folks, stand by. We'll be right back. Take a breath, and we'll be right back with you. Oh, refreshing. Isn't it just refreshing?
It is.
To talk about this, because it's so positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing, the difference between 2002 and we talked, and this is what I'm feeling compelled to share, is that I was learning the information, knowing the information logically, linearly, and picking it up and having noted from other past lives and whatever. But what the difference between then and now is that it's become a part of me, and that's why I kept referring back to that I am. And so you can read something and you go, well, that feels good, that sounds about right. But to live it, to be it, and that's where that I am, and that's a conjugation form of the verb to be. I am is a conjugation of that. So to actually be the knowing and the understanding of these things is different than having read it and comprehended it. You know, to actually be it and knowing it are two different things. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. They read something or they inspired from a quote or something like that and they like it, but are they living it? And the way that we live it and be it is through repetition. You have to practice it. You have to practice it. I recently watched a video from Mind Valley, and there was a woman on there.
What Mind Valley do?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there was a woman on there. I can't remember her name. Shin is the founder of Mind Valley, but there was a woman on there. Her name is escaping right now, but she was a hypnotherapist, like I am, and a counselor, and she had her big message was, "I am enough."
Oh.
Now, it's good to know that I am enough.
Yeah.
It's good to know that, but it's another thing to say it to yourself, to think it, to repeat it to yourself. And what she did was this one, she tells a story about how she was at a very high-end client with some famous movie star, and she went around his house with his ex-wife's lipstick and wrote it on every single mirror in the house, "I am enough." So everywhere he went, because this is at a big mansion house, a lot of mirrors, everywhere he went, he saw those words, "I am enough." And I just watched that video recently, but it's a nice reinforcement because I have, like what Abraham Hicks has, these, reflectable affirmations that you put in your dashboard of your car. It says, "Things are always working out for me." Well, it's one thing to go, "Oh yeah, things are always working out for me," and then go on with your life and stuff happens and things get challenging. But it's another thing to say to yourself every day, all day, most of the time, "Things aren't always working out for me. Life is good. All is well. I am enough." When you're saying those things to yourself and you keep doing it with repetition, you ingrain it into the neurology and the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, and you focus in there, and over time, that builds up and it grows.
Gee, I don't have to ask you to share with our audience out there a part of your process of coaching, because you're living it right in front of me.
Yeah. Well, just do it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the reason why people bring me into life. Number one, I give them strategies about how to think, what to do, daily success habits, how to live life. I have conversations with them about specific things specific to them individually. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they're doing all the work. The client is doing all the work. That's why when someone signs up with me as a client, I say, okay, just so you know ahead of time, you're responsible for your success. And guess what? You're also responsible for your failure.
And they write their autograph on that, right?
And this thing, so they come back and be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for assisting me with this, this, and this." And I go, "Well, you did it. I didn't do that. I did assist you, and I appreciate you appreciating my assist, but I didn't." They try to say like I did it for them, and I'm like, "No, I assisted them, but the client does it." And same thing with the people watching this, just like with you, with myself. We're ultimately responsible for our individual reality. That's why it's a movie theater, because it's just us watching this movie called life. Yes, you're in this movie right now with me, but you're a character, you're a reflection of me, back to myself. I don't know what you're thinking or what you're going through.
I'm thinking I'm in a soul relationship with you, and you've been my husband in a past life, or maybe this life, or maybe this is our relationship here today.
Absolutely. We've always been connected.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, you're having your experience of this movie. You know, they're having their experience of this movie called life. I'm having my experience. You know, that's why it's I, me, ego, human, physical self. Because this is what I get here, is this I, me, ego, human, physical self.
So where does our viewer, where can they go to connect with you?
AllianceCoachingSystem.com. They could just Google me, Dustin Vice. That'll come up. You can find me on Facebook, Dustin Vice. Yeah, I'm pretty out and prevalent. You know, even my Facebook profile is public, so you can find me. I also have a what do they call that? An actual page, a professional page for the Alliance Coaching System, and also for myself. So, but you can find me, if it's meant to be. I also have a book for coaches online, and I'm finishing my second book right now, which I'm not going to reveal the title of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's more about what we're talking about today. The actual, what is this all about? What is the point of this whole life? We just come here to be born and have all this trauma, drama, and crisis, and bliss, and then croak. There's got to be more to it. Why would the universe or God or whatever you want to call it go through all this work to create this very complex system, to create this physical life experience for us to just come in and croak?
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons behind these lives. There's a lot of purpose to them. And the wind comes in and says, "You're right.
You're right, and it's time to go. Time to go.
I can only imagine the interview comparison of this interview to 2002 interview, or even the 2000 one, which I don't know if you have still, but
I do. I have all of
big
the
difference
archives
in
out
energy.
there.
Even when I was listening to my voice in the 2002 one, who is this little meat creature?
And
So cute and
Yeah.
saying such great things.
And I was completely enamored to see that you had it on your phone. I'm like, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
The archive. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What else do we need to say? Anything?
What else do we need to say? We need to thank our audience
Thank
today
you.
for taking your time to stop, look, and listen in our divine appointment.
Yes, and to share with
And to
others.
share.
with others.
Share and pass it
Share
on.
on Facebook,
Need
YouTube,
your
whatever.
help. And look forward to having us live on Facebook.
Yes. Look forward
That's
to
what
it.
that's what's flowing through me, and I create as I go along. I mean, we're
That's
children.
what it's all about.
We're children. And with that, we say, I gotta continue the divine love and holy kisses, because that's the way it is.
That's right.
So divine love and holy kisses. See you on another episode of Angels Talk in our soul relationship. Dustin Vice, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Always fun.
You're such a great talker. It just. Thank you, Woody.
Wherever you are.
In my world. Nice.